10 years ago, I was at the Boston Marathon bombing.
Oh my gosh, in
Um,
2013. Yeah, I guess it is 10
yeah,
years.
I was at the finish line and thankfully, like, didn't die.
Yeah, for
Um,
real. Hey, can we just park on that
but
sentence? That's an important sentence.
okay, yeah, it is.
Have you internalized that over the last 10 years?
Uh, yeah, I think so. I think I've taken it and I've done good with that gratefulness that I have.
Okay.
It's a weird thing because um, no one thinks when they're in middle school that they're just gonna go to a sporting event and possibly like die. But
No.
I
Did
think
you see things or did you hear things or did you
yeah,
happen to leave before?
awful.
Yeah, tell me what you
Yeah,
saw.
like uh, I've never actually like told anyone
Okay. Okay, then
because of all the pictures,
I'm gonna
but
stop you there because I don't want to be the first person in this context. You
yeah,
need that somebody up close. But okay, and so
right.
keep going here. You
So yeah, I mean, I saw all the things that like the news showed or wasn't allowed to show, honestly.
Yep.
But anyway, I over the last 10 years have done a lot of like work to get rid of or try my best to get rid of like the physical post traumatic symptoms, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
A lot of stuff started to present itself like in the spring, which was kind of weird, like a lack of sleep and all that. And all that was to be expected, and we were warned. Um, but I guess like 10 years later, I'm realizing that there's a lot of bitterness I still have for the way that my family like dealt with the situation afterwards.
Mm. Tell me about it.
I did get sent to a counselor because I was honest with my family about like what I saw. Like when everyone was telling us not to look in one direction when we were running away, like I was curious, so I looked. And
Sure.
um, anyway, so I went to a counselor, but in my head, like growing up, I had heard over and over that like that was weak, or maybe I hadn't heard it, but I had internalized that.
Mm.
That you go to a counselor if you have a problem, and I didn't think that I had a problem. Like I just thought I would be able to move on. And so I didn't really like talk to anyone about it. I just now I'm realizing that I shoved it down, and I just I guess am now dealing with it 10 years later. So it doesn't really go away, but
What did
I
your
think I
mom and dad do that you're still so bitter? Your family.
I think it's what they didn't do.
Okay.
Um,
Tell me about that.
I so there was a lack of conversations about it. Like we turned to humor in my family, which is really nice in the moment. But
Mhm.
I think long term it has done some damage and it's created some coping mechanisms in me that like I just blame on them, and I just need to take some like personal responsibility for them because now I'm in my 20s and I want to
Tell me what
change that.
give me 2 things you've done as coping mechanisms.
Um I never talk about it, and then when I do, I only talk about it in like trying to find a purpose in the bombing. Like I'm just so obsessed just finding the good in it, I guess. Um,
Tell me though, what are some coping behaviors?
oh, okay.
Are you restrictive with what you
I
eat?
developed,
Are you
yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah, I
are you?
developed like a really horrible eating disorder.
Okay.
Um, and then I also just like turned to success as like my fuel, I guess. Yeah. And sorry, I'm teetering on
No,
tears. I'm really
no, I
trying
know,
to
I
stay
know.
away from
And
them.
I'm really if you were
Um,
with me, and you could feel safe, I would push you a little bit further. But since we're on the phone, you're sitting by yourself and you can hear me, but your body can't feel this room right now. Okay. So
yeah.
I am
hmm
intentionally stopping 1 or 2 questions short. Okay. But I know
Okay.
that you can feel that I'm stopping too.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can. Yeah, because yeah.
Yes.
hmm
So, and here, I want you to hear me say this. And this is both a disarming thing and this is also a frustrating thing for you. The fact that
Yeah.
I immediately picked this isn't written down anywhere. You didn't, to my knowledge, you didn't put this in your entry. I didn't even read your letter that you sent. I just have a little a clip. The fact that I picked disordered eating out of thin air, I want
hmm
you to know this isn't you're on a long line of people who've suffered awful things
Yeah.
and did not have people around that would listen to you
Right.
and left you
Mhm.
to swim in the middle of the ocean by yourself. And what's super frustrating is they all look like they were swimming just fine right next to you.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah, that's
weren't. They're not.
mhm.
They're not either, Grace.
Mhm.
They're not.
Yeah.
But they looked
That's
like they
been
were.
the craziest thing is I just look around me and like a few other people in my family like were there and I look at them and I'm like jealous almost of
It's a mirage.
how
It's a mirage.
yeah.
It's a mirage. It's a mirage. And good for
Mhm.
you that you got addicted to success and not something else. Fair?
Right. Yeah. Definitely fair. Yeah.
So what's going
That's a good
on
point.
now 10 years later? Is it media coverage? Is it what is bringing this up now?
Well, my parents did a good job of covering, shielding us from the media. They didn't want us to get obsessed with it because they did hear that sometimes people do turn to it and
That
just get obsessed with the story.
I'm going to tell you they did the
Um,
best they could with the info they had, and what they did was absolutely
exactly.
backwards.
Yeah.
Completely
Oh,
backwards.
okay. Oh,
Completely backwards.
okay.
But we
Interesting.
could talk through that in a second.
Yeah.
Or I will
Now,
go ahead.
sorry. I was just gonna say that now I actually qualified for the Boston Marathon, so I'm running it in a week. So I kind of like I just wanted something to be like mine out of this, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm setting my expectations like moderate because who knows? But I'm just excited that I have the opportunity to go, you know, and like hope to make it good this time.
It's okay, Grace. No one's ever told you this. It is okay to be terrified out of your mind.
Mhm.
And it's okay to
Yeah.
be so scared that the day before you get on that plane, you don't go. And it's also okay to go and to run not your best time, but to finish in a act of defiance so profound that few people will ever understand what you've done.
Yeah, that's how it feels. It feels like I'm like it feels like a victory already, I guess.
Yep,
But
it is.
I think the reason why I like really wanted to just like talk to someone about it is because not all aspects of the last 10 years feel victorious at all. You know, like
No.
and I expected like 10 years later, like why can't this just be like done, you know?
Because
Um,
here's the deal. You haven't dealt with it.